that particular commission, and that's where we find Samkele Maseko, my colleague there. Samkele, so riveting testimony coming out of this inquiry. Of course, the Deputy Finance Minister relaying what we have heard before. Not much new information coming out, but interesting to hear, Samkele, that the pressure at that time which led to the former Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene's removal was his resistance to accept or sign off on the nuclear procurement deal.
Yes, indeed, Xoli, you'd remember that the nuclear build project that was being pursued by the former President Jacob Zuma, basically Nhlanhla Nene, Mcebisi Jonas, the former Deputy Finance Minister, is basically saying that's what led to the axe falling on former Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene and the pressure that he had that meeting with the Gupta family, where he was basically saying he was ambushed by Fana Hlongwane, the businessman, allegedly ambushed by Fana Hlongwane and Duduzane Zuma, but it all boils down to that nuclear build project that was being pursued by the former President of the Republic of South Africa. But I'm just going to throw to Aaron Bates, our reporter, who's been following this story from the inception of this commission looking into state capture. Aaron, what did you take out of that testimony by the former Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas, particularly around the death threats and the nuclear build project that finally led to the axe falling on them by the former President of the Republic?
Yes, well, Samkele, what's interesting is that Jonas has described the animosity he perceived from then President Jacob Zuma over that nuclear deal. But for me, the takeaways from today are the jaw-dropping allegations he's made, the version of events he's given around that October 2015 meeting at the Saxonwold Shebeen, as it's become known. Really jaw-dropping, goosebumps for me at times, just hearing him relay those events on his version. Now, you've rightly pointed out, I've been here since Monday when matters began, missed the first witness's testimony, but it's important to remember what the head of the legal team for this inquiry said on Monday. Advocate Paul Pretorius saying that they cannot presume any facts in this inquiry. We don't have a ruling on cross-examination as yet for the people implicated here. Very serious allegations on Jonas's event, saying that he received a death threat from one of the Gupta brothers. He's not sure. It could have been Atul, it could have been Rajesh. He didn't know because when he pitched up at the house, he'd never met these people before. He'd only seen photographs. But that's all still to come if there is a ruling on cross-examination.
What do you make that he spoke to the former SG of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, Zizi Kodwa, the former spokesperson of the ANC, and the engagement he had with the former Treasurer General Zweli Mkhize? What does this say about the then political involvement and the high political climate that was in the cabinet at the time and in the African National Congress as they were building up to their 2017 December 54th National Conference?
Well, I think the thing we all forget is that at the time that all of this happened, we knew so little about the machinations of the Gupta family and their political allies. The Gupta leaks weren't out at that point. You know, even the reports of the meetings between, on Jonas's version, Duduzane Zuma, Fana Hlongwane, the Guptas and himself weren't out in the public domain. That's all come to light subsequently. So as you say, we were in a very different political climate to the one we're in now. But astounding to hear Jonas say that the brother, who he said spoke like a radio during that meeting, also said that we control everything. I may be paraphrasing the precise terminology he used, but saying that what we do, the old man allows, basically, and the precise wording is in one of my tweets. But astounding revelations from him on the role the Guptas, on his version, themselves described they had in public affairs in South Africa. And that's precisely what this inquiry is going to look into. How did people in the private sector, on the version of the Public Protector's report, manage to have such control of a democratic constitutional democracy? If this happened, how did it happen?
Well, Aaron, we are running out of time since we have to go inside at 11:15. I'm just going to throw back to you. What did you make of the body language of Mcebisi Jonas? I saw his voice breaking down as if he was going into dripping into tears when he said that he contemplated resigning after he spoke to Pravin Gordhan at his Pretoria residence.
Yes, Sam, I think since we're running out of time, just to go back to that meeting, imagine, he says as he was leaving the Gupta home, he was offered 600,000 rand in cash. What kind of person person refuses that, what kind of strength of character does one have to have in order to say, no, thank you, and then be told any disclosure of that meeting on his version would lead to his death? This is astounding, and he spoke about the anger he felt as this meeting progressed, and also the rise in mood from people there, Duduzane Zuma, Fana Hlongwane, and the Gupta brother involved. So that's all part of the story we may have forgotten in the interim. Astounding, and you saw him there wiping his brow points. He's in the spotlight, and it's not an easy job.
Well, Xoli, that was Aaron Bates relating what we have just witnessed there, the allegations being made by Mcebisi Jonas, giving testimony on his version of events that transpired during that meeting he had, or non-meeting that was planned with the Gupta brothers at the Saxon World compound, where the Guptas own that particular residence, a meeting where allegedly former businessman Fana Hlongwane was part of, Duduzane Zuma, and also relating how Mcebisi Jonas went on to speak about this horrific incident that he speaks about that should have never transpired from the onset, about how he was offered a cabinet post by the Gupta brothers, which is a duty that solely rests with and is the prerogative of the President of the Republic of South Africa. More importantly here, Xoli, I must point out that today there is also Pravin Gordhan, the former finance minister. He's also here with his legal team, along with former SARS spokesperson Adrian Lekay. There's also Fakey Mentor with her legal representatives, who has also been outspoken about the Gupta family. It's not yet clear whether the allegations being made against Fana Hlongwane, Duduzane Zuma, and former President Jacob Zuma, their legal team will get an opportunity to cross-examine Mcebisi Jonas on the startling allegations and testimony that he is giving here against the Gupta brothers, Duduzane Zuma, Fana Hlongwane, and former President of the Republic of South Africa, Jacob Zuma.
Samkele, I want us to keep talking, or just keep this conversation going for a little bit. Tell us the reasons why Mcebisi Jonas says he did not see it as advisable on his part to actually even report this to the law enforcement agencies. What reservations did he have about reporting this to the relevant authorities?
Well, he's saying that he was very wary of these state organs of law enforcement in South Africa, saying that there were all these allegations of them being captured by the former president of the Republic. For instance, he goes on to say that they couldn't even have their meeting with Nhlanhla in their offices at Treasury. They had to step out and go to the balcony office, alluding that their offices may have been monitoring, which may spread various allegations of the office may be bugged, there may be cameras, someone may be eavesdropping on their conversations, which goes back to the intelligence systems that he also alludes to that may have been captured by the former president of the Republic of South Africa, and also saying that that meeting, the Gupta brother literally told them that they control everything in South Africa. They've got all the information that they may need on him to destroy his political ambitions. Also saying that he may be working with the wrong people within the African National Congress. You and I may know that during those factional battles of the ANC, you had Gwede Mantashe, Zizi Godwa, and to a certain extent, the former Treasurer General Zweli Mkhize working against the former president of the ANC, Jacob Zuma, which saw the ushering in of Cyril Ramaphosa as the president of the ANC. So it tells you the depth of the mistrust that existed within the African National Congress, cabinet itself, and how state institutions were being used to fight factional proxy battles of ANC leaders using state organs, particularly within the security cluster and law enforcement agencies.
So much to talk about, Samkele. I can see you even gasping for air there. All right, we'll leave it there for the moment. So much coming out of this. Of course, the claim as well being made there by the former Deputy Finance Minister that he was being monitored by the Guptas, and these are the claims that he says were made by this Gupta brother who attempted to bribe him, that they had been following him. They know his activities and what he was up to. So it tells you the intelligence activities, or the intelligence involvement in, I guess, bugging people's phones, and the rest of it, all those claims having been made in the past. All right, we are going to try and link back to the commission as soon as it does come back up. We're going to take a short breather for the moment.